All right, let's jump right into this paddle masterclass. Today, we're taking your game from the ground up, starting with the absolute physical foundation of your body, all the way to the advanced court tactics that the pros use to actually win matches. Whether you've been playing for a few months or a few years, there is something in here that will fundamentally change how you look at the court. So get this, did you know playing Padel can drastically increase your lifespan? According to the Copenhagen City Heart Study, which tracked nearly 9,000 people over 25 years, playing racket sports like tennis, which shares tons of biomechanical and social qualities with Padel, can add a staggering 9.7 years to your life. It actually ranked as the #1 sport for lengthening your life. But here's the catch. Contrast that longevity with this shocking statistic. Over 65% of Padel players report suffering an injury during play. You can't exactly get those 9.7 extra years if you're constantly sidelined, right? That is a massive roadblock to both your health and your development as a player. To keep you healthy and winning, here is our roadmap for today. First, the hidden physical toll. Second, the data behind winning. Third, mastering court tactics. And finally, breaking that stubborn intermediate plateau. All right, part 1, the hidden physical toll. Understanding and preventing Padel injuries. We all know the feeling. You get hooked, you start playing 5 days a week, and boom, you're injured. The Aspetar Sports Medicine Journal points out that amateur players frequently get hurt simply because they ramp up their court time way too fast, completely without letting their bodies adapt to the biomechanical demands of the game. So where are we actually getting hurt? Well, all those endless overheads, they make lateral epicondyle tendinopathy, basically tennis elbow, the absolute #1 issue, causing over 20% of all reported injuries. And then think about sprinting up to the net right after hitting a shot. That constant forward and backward bursting puts a massive eccentric strain on your calves, leading to acute lower limb issues like tennis leg, which is literally a tear in your calf muscle. Ouch. To keep you out of rehab, Clinical Experience gives us a crystal clear playbook for your tendons. You kick things off with isometric contractions, mainly just to get the initial pain under control. Once that settles down, you move into eccentric loads to really build up your tendons' tolerance. And finally, you cap it off with plyometrics and Padel-specific movements. This whole process takes about 6 to 8 weeks, so obviously managing your workload beforehand is a total game changer. Moving on to part 2, the data behind winning. Let's look at the sports science from professional matches. Researchers actually sat down and analyzed 41 professional matches. We're talking over 4,800 individual points. And what they found is a massive statistical link between the specific shot you choose and whether you actually win the point. It turns out it's really not about just hitting the cover off the ball. It's entirely about hitting the right shot at the right time. Just look at how these numbers play out. Smashes, incredibly effective. They are the absolute go-to for securing outright winners. But here's where it gets really interesting. The Bandeja. We all use it constantly, right? Well, surprisingly, it accounts for the highest rate of unforced errors, up to 27%. Basically, trying to force a winner with a tricky tray shot often just hands a free point right over to your opponent. And the data gives us this amazing nugget about rally length. Unsurprisingly, the serving pair totally dominates short points, but, and this is huge, if you can drag a point out past 20 shots in women's professional Padel, the dynamic completely flips. The returning pair actually wins slightly more often in those long, grinding rallies. It literally proves that patience pays off. All right, part 3, mastering court tactics. We are zeroing in on the back glass and team communication. When it comes to the back glass, there is one mistake everyone makes at some point. It's running in a straight line, dead on, toward the spot where the ball will hit the glass. If you do this, you're toast. The ball doesn't stop there, right? It rebounds. And if you followed it straight in, it's going to rebound right into your chest, leaving you totally cramped up and forced into a weak defensive shot. So, how do we fix it? You have got to anticipate early. But instead of running straight back, you move back and slightly to the side. It's all about creating space between yourself and the glass. By stepping to the side, you let the ball rebound forward into your strike zone, so you can step into the shot aggressively and in perfect balance. Remember, you can always step forward to adjust to a ball, but you cannot fix being jammed up. Now let's talk team dynamics. Think about when you get lobbed. You and your partner are scrambling backward. One of you is tracking the ball, which means the other absolutely must be watching the opponents. The Padel school hits the nail on the head here. Clear communication is everything. You need short, agreed-upon words like net, close, or backwards, so your partner instantly knows exactly where the opponents are and what shot to play. But watch out for this trap, because it happens even at the pro level. When a player calls out to their partner, they instinctively turn their head to actually look at them while speaking. And the second you do that, you completely lose sight of the opponents, which totally defeats the purpose. So shout those keywords, but keep your eyes locked on the other side of the net. Finally, Section 4, breaking the intermediate plateau. It's all about shifting your tactical mindset. This ties everything together. The biggest mindset shift you need to break through that frustrating plateau is changing what you focus on. Beginners and intermediates, they're obsessed with the ball and their own technique. They just want to hit it right. But advanced players, they are entirely focused on their opponents. They are reading the room, studying positioning, and constantly anticipating what the other team is expecting them to do. If you feel stuck in your progress, I bet you're falling into a few of these traps. Intermediate players often plateau because they get predictable. Under pressure, they default to the exact same safety shot, like always lobbing when they're rushed. They kind of just make things up point by point, instead of utilizing a clear tactical system. Plus, a lot of players simply don't watch enough high-level pro padel to naturally absorb good point construction. To break through, you've got to change up how you train. First off, film yourself. I know no one likes it, but video exposes the massive gap between what you think you're doing and what's actually happening out there. Second, look at your match data. Where are those unforced errors actually coming from? And lastly, force yourself into uncomfortable, decision-focused training scenarios. No more just comfortably feeding balls from a basket. So we've got the data on winning, the clinical protocols to keep you injury-free, and some serious tactical upgrades for your mindset and positioning. I'll leave you with this final thought. Are you ready to stop just surviving points out there on the court and start actually constructing them? Take these insights, bring them to your next match, and watch your paddle game completely transform.